Hello, lovely people. This is Jamie, your host for this series of videos by His Eminence Tsem Tulku Rinpoche, based on the book Gurus for Higher Enlightenment for Sale. Now, today we're talking about what it means to be committed and to have spiritual conviction on our spiritual path. Ask yourself, do you give up when things get tough? What do you do when you meet a challenge? Do you run away? And what do you expect or think of a spiritual journey and a spiritual path? Do you think it's all rainbows and calm and green tea and incense? Because you know what? More often than not, it's probably not going to be that idyllic little mountain scene you've got in your head. There's a lot of tough stuff that comes up, and sometimes it can hurt, and sometimes it can really press your buttons. And that's the real test of your spiritual faith. Do you stick it through and become stronger? Or do you run away, like the little piglet that ran away from the marketplace? In the next video, Rinpoche explains the importance of sticking it through and building your spiritual mettle. And this is especially good advice for people who are new on the spiritual path, to show you the way and to give you a little hint of what to expect as you trek this fantastic but often rocky journey.
Prayer to the three jewels who are infallible refuge. How can that bring wrong action or wrong result? Impossible. It is impossible. If you think it's possible, then you put it in the complaint box to Buddha Shakyamuni or His Holiness the Dalai Lama or Trijang Rinpoche or Saramji. You write them a letter and say, guess what? Prayer is bad. The mantras bring bad effects. The mantras make me suffer. You'll probably get a letter back saying, that's the right way. Good. So when bad things happen, negative things happen, actually check the level of your mind. At that moment, check your tenacity. At that moment, check your willpower. And last but not least, this is the most important, check your spiritual conviction. You check your spiritual conviction. If obstacles come and you give up and stop and run, then you say you want to advance in spiritual practice. Your conviction is not there. So what you should do is build up that conviction. Build up. If we're very sick, of course we need to lie down and rest, but we should be happy. We should think, oh, very good. And usually at the conclusion of our practice, conclusion of the teachings, people get well. Usually at the conclusion of our retreats and mantra recitations, the obstacles clear. Usually. So if we have a holy practice to do, we engage in it. Seemingly, there is no effect or there is effect. Seemingly. But do we have the knowledge to know what the effect should and should not be? Or are we still on a worldly path thinking, oh, if I do this, positive results should come out immediately? Your own perception of positive results. Why isn't purifying one's karma a positive result? Why not? Of course, purifying one's karma has positive results. And then what do you think the purification of karma is? Is that you recite a few mantras, and then the negativities that we've committed just goes away? If you have the realization of voidness, then it is like that. You can dissolve your negative karma without having to experience it. If you don't have the experience of voidness, if you're a normal, ordinary level like us, the karma can come out in obstacles, minor obstacles, that build you stronger, or that when the obstacle happens, afterwards, it becomes better. So like that, when we engage in Dharma practice, it's like doing exercises or taking inoculation. We should be very happy when obstacles arise. If we do stop, do stop, do stop, do stop, do stop, don't expect the obstacles to stop. Why? It's like not completing your inoculation. We have to think. Spiritual conviction is through thick and thin. Spiritual conviction is not when things go the way you think it should go, and then you do it. When the things don't go the way you think it should go, you don't do it. That's not spiritual conviction. That's more intellectual or more almost entertainment. If we've invoked upon our Lama, and our Lama has kindly given us a practice, or done divination for us, or has taken the time to think or investigate and check for us, the least we can do is do the practice that we have received. The least we can do. If we are judgmental on even the practice that our Lama gives us, if we are judgmental or nitpicking, then that's a very wrong way to start your spiritual practice. Very, very wrong way to start. And if your Lama is giving you practices anywhere in the world, if your Lama is giving you practices that doesn't entail vows, that doesn't entail commitments, that doesn't entail rituals and initiations, and doesn't entail all types of difficult practices, and it's something simple, and you still cannot do it, then how do you advance? Don't you see people at the gym? Some people go there for years. There's no change in their physical body at all. How you do it or don't do it is not your obstacles. Let me make it clear. Is your commitment. If you're not a committed person, you will let yourself say, no, I won't. Whether you do it or you don't do it is your own commitment. And how strong your commitment is how much you want it. And how much you want it is how valuable you realize what you're doing is. How valuable you know what you're doing is dependent on knowledge. And knowledge is dependent on listening. Listening is dependent on patience. Patience is dependent on compassion. Compassion is dependent on knowing that if you don't do this, you and others that you love will suffer. It's all coming back to the self-cherishing mind. Commitment to self-cherishing mind. I made a link for you.
So, are you well prepared now to start off on your journey down that yellow brick road? If you aren't, there's a whole lot more information in Gurus for Hire Enlightenment for Sale, which shows you many, many different ways of navigating this tricky but rewarding spiritual path. Shows you how to make the best out of your relationship with your teacher and with your spiritual community, and how to really practice to the best that you can to get the results. Now, don't forget to keep subscribing to Kachara Books, where we'll be offering you lots more fantastic videos. And of course, share your thoughts. Leave your comments down in the comment section below. That will be your first assignment to test your spiritual commitment. See you soon. Do when you meet a challenge? Do you run away? Now, okay.